And welcome back. A third problem I've noticed in these argument essay drafts is that is a tendency towards making unsupported and unsubstantiated statements. And here's an example of where this is happening. And it's something that should be fairly easy to fix if you just either add in a source or add in some evidence to back up what you're saying. So I'll read through a portion of this. 368 pounds and 35 years old. The only way Angie Filardo could be comforted was with food, food, and more food. So the first question that probably pops into your mind is, who is Angie Filardo? Um, how do we know where this information came from? I have no idea. She decided to make a change because she was unhealthy, not happy with herself, and had no energy. Cutting down calories and exercising daily is Jamie's new comfort. The reader is probably a little bit confused here. We don't know who Jamie or Angie is. So that definitely either needs to be cited or explained. So for example, these might be hypothetical people, and what you would need to do is say that these aren't real people. So you could say, imagine a 368-pound, 35-year-old woman named Angie Filardo who could only be comforted with food. And then also imagine Jamie, who has cut down on calories and lost 240 pounds. It seems a little extreme of an example to me. I don't know how that would be true. How is Jamie's success story happening? If you want your reader to believe this, you really need to either cite it and explain that it is real, that you can look up the study where it happened, or you could go talk to Jamie as a real person and see that it actually worked that way. Okay, another example. Living a healthy lifestyle, such as a proper diet and exercising, is the best way to avoid becoming overweight and obese. Now, this is a statement that's presented like fact that living a healthy lifestyle, such as proper diet and exercising, is the best way to avoid becoming overweight and obese. The trouble with it is that it's saying that it's the best way, but it's doing so without any supporting documentation or evidence. So, how do I know that that's true? As a reader, I don't have enough information about the author or about the credibility of this information to believe this statement is in fact true. It really should be supported with some actual studies in a works cited page. In this day and age, high fat and unhealthy foods are cheaper and more available than healthy foods. Okay, fair enough. I don't see how that's related to the first sentence in the paragraph, but I'll let that go for now. Along with people's fast-paced lives, they don't have time to cook a healthy dinner for their family, let alone squeeze a good workout into their schedules. So on their way home to work, they just pick up a few burgers from the local fast food chain, and that is the family's dinner a couple times a week. Okay, and I see kind of how this time crunch is related to a healthy lifestyle, but that really could be explained more clearly. Need some transitions to bring this topic sentence into relation to these ones. So you could say, for example, or one example of an unhealthy lifestyle follows from this day's or our society's lack of time. Okay, and then it concludes with a statement, overpriced food and people's laziness are big contributors to the increasing obesity rate. Now, this is definitely a statement that needs research to back it up, or else I have no reason to believe it. I don't know that overpriced food and people's laziness actually connect to the obesity rate. They might, but just telling me that isn't enough to get me to believe it. For this to be an actually proven factual statement that supports your argument, it really needs to have credible studies or credible statistics that show a correlation, strong correlation, between laziness and obesity. Even if you do have statistics that support this, it doesn't imply that there's a causal relation there. Correlation does not imply causation. So maybe overpriced food is correlated to obesity rate, doesn't mean that overpriced food causes it. So that's something where the argument is going to have to be qualified carefully. Okay, so let me take you to another example where this is done more or less correctly. I'm not going to say well done, but you can at least see how to add sources in such a way that it backs up the things that you're saying. So here I want to skip down a little bit. We can say medicine is one of the fastest growing fields in terms of advancement in technology. In a world where nearly everyone has a mobile cell phone, it is hard to fathom that, quote, the Apollo computers had less processing power than a cell phone. Here I get the source to show that the Apollo computers were smaller than cell phones. Okay, so I can check this source out, popscience.com. I don't know that I trust that source in particular, but maybe they have a works cited page that I can follow up on. Skipping down a little bit, we say here, laparoscopic appendectomies are commonly performed, and as with other of these surgeries, the literature describes decreased pain, earlier resumption of diet, and decreased length of hospital stay for appendectomy. So here, instead of just telling me that these appendectomies are commonly performed and expecting me to believe it, whereas here they were telling me this is happening and expecting me to believe it. Down here, they give me the source. Now I can go check it out and see if this is actually true or not. I can look at their research, their study, their methodology, and I can know with some degree of certainty. Probably I won't even this source because it's a .com, they're trying to make money and profit. I don't really see that as a highly credible source. I'd want to see a peer-reviewed journal rather than a .com website. But it at least gives me something that shows that the author is basing their statements on research rather than just their own opinion. And you want to make sure that all your sources are fully cited so that I can follow through and check your methods and your information.